No Nation. Welcome into another episode of the Renegade Rundown with yours truly, my beautiful co-host. I can't talk today. Jen Santee, 1890. You can find her on X. You can find her right here 4 times a week. 3 Renegade Rundowns, 1 Renegade Roast. That is tomorrow. So after today's show, don't leave forever. Come back. Come right back tomorrow. Who knows what kind of special guests we'll have for that. Today's special guest for the today is from the Double D's podcast. My good friend Deshaun and his co-host D have made the long trip all the way to the studio right here. The studio that's split up between Pensacola and Memphis. But anyways, what's going on, Deshaun D? Thank you guys for joining us today. We're gonna get into some NFL Noles and the 13 guys headed to the NFL. What's going on with their rookie mini camps thus far, and what kind of their future looks like in their first year in the NFL. What's up,
Hey,
Sean?
what's going on, man? Glad to be here, man. Really excited for the opportunity and just ready to talk some ball.
Facts. You guys were talking off stage or off air that you guys have done, I believe, 31 podcasts so far since you've launched right here on YouTube. And I guess you guys talk NFL football, but with kind of a Florida State lean, or what exactly do you guys do over there?
D, you can take it away.
Well, we really talk anything sports. Pretty much, we keep it football related. Our podcast is we right now we're going NFL, but once college starts, we'll go college too. Not necessarily any specific team. Just kind of the ins and outs, the newest topics, whatnot.
Beautiful. I love it, man. That it makes it a lot easier when you can talk um, about all of it. We stick pretty heavy to the Florida State niche right here. So that's kind of what most of our questions and stuff would be. Definitely you guys go check them out, and we'll get their channel linked exactly in the description. What exactly is the at so people can go subscribe?
At Double D's, let's talk about it.
Right.
Ooh.
At Double D's, let's talk about it. And that's right here on YouTube. It's in the description already, but we'll get a comment up in a little bit. But just to get started, and I guess both of you guys can take turns, however y'all decide how y'all want to, describe the things. But I guess most people, when they think about Jordan Travis and Jared Verse and what's going on and where they're at, what kind of chance they have this year as rookies in the NFL, the first stage of that is the rookie mini camp. Can y'all lay out for the people, I guess, what we're going to be talking about? What is a rookie mini camp in the NFL?
Well, I'll start it off. Well, basically, mini camp is just getting the rookies acclimated to the franchise, how they do things. They've already been introduced to some of the coaches on draft night. They basically get in there, they'll do a little bit of light workouts, just basic things like you get fitted for equipment. You get in the office and get with your trainers, you know who your go-to people are, stuff like that. It's just basically acclimating them and introducing them to the league and to the franchise, and they just get to learn how the things flow and how each organization runs.
Yeah, it's pretty much all for the rookies only. So once they start OTAs, that's when the vets will come in. But this is strictly all the drafted and undrafted guys.
How many, I didn't really think about that, because people see the draft and they immediately think, all right, about 7 guys. That's what you got. But some teams have, extra draft picks. You've got those, compensatory picks, I believe is how they say it. So there's definitely not 7 rookies. You've got the guys that you bring in as free agents, undrafted. So I guess how many guys are usually in these camps?
It varies, man. And to be honest with you, Jarvis Landry, who's a vet, played at LSU with OBJ. He attended one of them. So it's not. They say it's rookies, but it's for players who haven't played in a while, or players coming back from injury. So it can vary. It really varies. And then some of them will get invited to OTA, some of them won't.
Thanks. Well, I guess before we get into the premier guys, the guys that have got all the hubbub, you spoke of the fact that not everybody even makes it to the next step, which is the OTAs. Of our 3 undrafted guys that got invited, to join some of these rookie mini camps, Who's going to make it? Who do you think the guys that didn't get drafted from Florida State, are there any that you think really have a shot, or is it really a shot in the dark for all three of them? We've got Keon Dent.
Kalen.
I don't want to misspeak. I'm not even looking at the list right now.
I love it.
Kalen Deloach and love it. Fabo. Fabo's in Kansas City. Deloach is in Tampa. And then
it's crazy because
Benson.
that's the one that I didn't want to say because I don't know how Fabian Lovett didn't get drafted. Kalen Deloach as well, but I would think all three would make it. Sorry to cut you off, man.
Oh, you good. I would speak to Fabian. I think his injury history may have fed into some of his draft stock. Being a player that had been in college for the duration that he's been in, the fact that he has had a little bit of injury history, it kind of affected him a little bit, but I think he can make the roster or at the minimum practice squad. The one that I think that has the highest upside to make the roster is Kalen Deloach. I think he fits Tampa's scheme, and he'll be able to. He should have been one of those players that was drafted, but I think he's in a perfect position going to Tampa because they do have a little bit of a history of undrafted guys, particularly from Florida State, being able to make the roster and be contributors.
Man, Jason Light, it seemed like no matter how many all-pro, all-star, whatever linebackers you had, he was still going to take one in the top 100 picks every year. Is, for us guys who haven't been that deep in the NFL, is he still the GM there? And is it, you hit the nail on the head because I was going to ask you that question. Doesn't seem like Kalen Deloach really could have went to any better place in the country than that kind of like birthplace of Tampa 2 and, what he could really shine at as a linebacker there in the way that Levante David and all these guys have before him that aren't these 6'6" freakish, prototypes they're spitting out nowadays.
You want to take it, D?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Akeem Dent, in my opinion, I think all three of the players have an opportunity to make the team. Lovett's a big body guy. He's going to help free up Chris Jones. Dent, him being a versatile player. The Chargers brought in Michigan's defensive coordinator, and I could see Dent playing a role like Sander Steele. Was that his name, Deshaun?
I think it is
from Michigan.
Because
he can play safety, he can play nickel. And the same thing with Deloach. I definitely think Kalen makes the team. He'll have to put a little bit of weight on, but with his speed and his versatility, Todd Bowles would be able to get something out of him, definitely.
Yeah, he did. To add on to that, he did go from 211 to about 220. So when he was when he did his pro days and things like that, he was already well above 215. So, and was able to keep that speed when he went to the combine. He wasn't 211, he was 220. So he ran that time. He ran at a good. It's really his height and his weight is the reason why, they question some things. But he's already playing at that weight now.
Yeah, he ran 4.47. People forget.
Yeah.
A nice time for a linebacker at the combine for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keem Dent. The thing with him, I think injuries as well. I feel like if he could have just got that full senior season he needed to really showcase, I think he's one that you never got to see his peak in a Florida State uniform. So hopefully he can make it through these OTAs and make it. Did he get picked up? Where is he at? And do you see him making a roster this year, or does he have a lot of work ahead of him?
He's with the Chargers. Yeah. I think he could. The thing about Akeem, I think his IQ, his football acumen is strong. I think he'd be a good. He's good in the secondary. He was the primary play caller for FSU in the secondary. So I think that's a strong suit for him to be able to make the Chargers roster. He's athletic enough. He did come in initially as a corner. I remember he was a 5-star corner and transition to safety. So I think he'll give you some versatility in being able to cover one-on-one in slot situations, not just playing safety. So I think he can make the roster.
Plus,
the first two players we talk about, it's funny. We could come back at the end and have the whole conversation about what a safety is or a linebacker nowadays in the NFL and college and that transition. But sorry, man, you was about to take off. My bad.
Oh no, you're good. I was gonna say, and Dent has Derwin James to groom him and learn from. So I think he'll make the team.
Yeah, he got Zont also there too.
Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
got
Heavy
two
with the
no's up
Noles out
there.
west, the Chargers and the Rams. I'm all
Yes,
for it,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And but freaking West Side Knowles. But Jen, I know we've kind of dominated the conversation so far, but of the 10 guys that did get drafted, some of those earlier draft picks, I guess we can let you start it off. Who are you most interested to hear about in their new NFL team?
Well, I mean, I think it goes without saying. Well, the first one I'm so excited to see play is the great Trey Benson. I feel like,
Oh, this is a good one.
his injury. And I'm old enough to remember Florida State fans angry that the coaching staff took him. Not I said the fly. It wasn't me. That was not me. So I'm so excited to just see him flourish in the NFL. I think he will. I think that is the number one guy. And I know it sounds weird because that shouldn't be the number one guy. And then I've got the Braden Fisk and the, and Jared Verse, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the real one is Jordan Travis because I feel like he's going to play for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really do. And I feel like this is going to be such a good thing for us. It's going to be like a therapeutic session. His first, like, it's going to feel so good for all of us. Like, we had this, the snub and all this crap that poor Jordan had to go through. And his first real game, and I feel like he's going to play. And I think we're all just going to have this therapeutic session, enjoy it, and just be so happy afterwards. Let's do it. It'll be fun. We can watch as a family, right?
I'm glad Jen kind of zigged and zagged and didn't just go straight into picking a player. Because Spear Addicts has a comment here that says, not FSU related, but who agrees with me that JJ from Michigan is a bust? And it makes me think of something I saw today. And I hope it's true. Tell me if it's true. But the quarterback that paints his nails and everything like that came down, did he really throw 7 picks in a row and have to get benched in the rookie camp the other day? Or was that like a Twitter troll or whatever? Because we could get into Jordan Travis first, because I know it's an opposite situation and very positive over there in New York.
He's not painting his nails and he's not, being a bust. But I agree with you. Yeah.
You want to touch on Jordan, bro? And then
I think Jordan's in a perfect position because he has Aaron Rodgers and Tyrod Taylor to learn from. So if at the very least, even if he learns, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy and Jordan doesn't play, he has 2 good vets to learn from, and he should be able to come in. I think he could potentially be their quarterback of the future. We literally just got done doing a video on the AFC East, so Jordan would be in a perfect position with that team around him. He definitely could come in and light things up.
Yeah, I add to that with them having veteran quarterbacks. You look at Rodgers' age; he's well over 35, and Tyrod's in his mid-30s now too. Mm-hmm. It pretty much sets up for Jordan to at least, at the minimum, be a bridge guy, and be a consistent 9-10-year vet quarterback at the minimum. Considering what he was labeled as, a running back playing quarterback. All the ups and downs he's had to go through, and to reach this part now where he is on an NFL roster with an opportunity to be able to move forward as a possible starter within the next 3 years, if not 2. I think he's in the perfect position, and that was one of the teams that I had heard and had listed as a possible destination for him, to get him in a good spot surrounded by a bunch of veterans with young offensive weapons also.
Yeah, looking down the list, Jason Brownlee, Irvin Charles, I'm not even trying to say Hamzi Elzaya, Xavier Gibson, who I know is pretty good. He's been around for a little while. Tyler Harrell, brand new to the league. Alan Lazard, Lance McCutcheon, Marcus Riley, Malik Taylor. There's not a ton of like Pro Bowlers, stalwart wide receivers there on that list. But with his skill set of being able to extend the plays and make miracles happen, you can see him being able to do something with that roster to like turn heads. It's like a weird situation. Everybody was pumped up for Aaron Rodgers, and then bam, like one little drop back, and that's it. So you could be in that situation whether it's right or it's wrong with Tyrod Taylor, it feels like he's never really got his shot. I've always been a fan of Tyrod Taylor as a football player. Hated seeing him at Virginia Tech when we had to play him back in the day.
I didn't mind because we beat their ass.
I don't see any roadblock there to keep. Like, I think there's probably a 40-something% chance Jordan Travis ends up starting a couple games this year.
It's possible. It's possible. Tyrod is a consummate vet. I really like him being there. I don't know about Aaron as far as how much Aaron will engage, because Aaron kind of got done that way with Brett Favre as far as the interaction.
I think he will. I think he will with this one. I think this will bring up his sorry to interrupt. I'm just saying I think it'll bring up his persona, because he's got, like, right now that whole thing going for him that he doesn't want to help a rookie quarterback, and this rookie quarterback that got injured on national TV is an absolute game changer for Aaron Rodgers and his persona, right? I feel like if he starts helping him, if he brings him along, and I think he will, I think that is a story within a story, and that'll bring Aaron Rodgers back to where he thinks he should be. That's all I'm going to say.
It's awesome.
I think it's perfect for Jordan. I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's a golden PR opportunity, no doubt about it.
Yes, definitely.
Like, just to look at two different spots in a career. It's like, all right, well, the guy that's drafted to replace you versus the guy that's drafted to replace you, but you're coming off an Achilles. This might be your last year anyways. So yeah, really curious to see exactly how it plays out. I also think kind of the personalities and just kind of who Jordan Travis is can kind of play a role into it. It's like, how are you going to become an enemy or act like he's conceited or anything? He'll never come with that energy. I find it hard that Aaron won't like him. So yeah, super interested. Has there been anything that's came out, like, from the camp in specific? Has Jordan looked good? Has there been any change to his mechanics, like, already that you start to see, or any word on his injury as far as how he is 100% going into OTAs, et cetera, things like that?
I personally haven't seen anything as far as him throwing yet. I know he's gotten his uniform, his number. He's taking pictures with that. As far as his injury, the last thing I saw, he is throwing. So I know he's back to throwing now. But as far as in camp right now, no, I think he's just still transitioning and getting going there, and still trying to work through that injury and transition. Just like I said, rookie minicamp, just getting acclimated to the system.
Chris says that the Rodgers interview about Dre Trav hasn't come out yet, but it's great. Yeah, that'll be.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that for sure.
I feel like people are going to be surprised with how Aaron Rodgers is embracing Jordan Travis. I really do. And I think it's all, look, I'm only saying it's great for Jordan, and I think it's good for Aaron. So I think it works for both. And I think people are going to be a little bit surprised with that relationship going forward. That's all I'm going to say about it. But I agree with Chris that interview is going to be really good. It's going to be really good.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, shoot, we might as well let him run the show. He also made a comment talking about damn, that got way too good of a fucking laugh. What was that about? Anyway, he made a comment about the Rams picking up the best pair, like the best duo of draft picks in the draft, with Jared Verse and Braden Fisk. So that can be our natural next move there, is to talk about that pair. And yeah, Sean McVay loves him some Florida State Seminoles. He keeps going out there and grabbing them. And for him to grab Jared Verse,
who wouldn't?
I believe at number 20. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
And then Braden Fisk at 39, I believe. And to grab just two studs right there in that front seven, outside linebacker, and then at tackle. Y'all take off, man. How exciting is it for that pair to play next to each other? At rookie minicamp, it can't be fair. Like, those two guys have to just be like doing one-on-one drills by themselves over there in a corner somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
This was a team that when we talked about, this was, I think, my two favorite pairing as well, because when they got to Florida State, they both came from different schools, but their mindset was they were going to get Florida State back to what Florida State was. And I think they'll take that same mindset out to Vegas and replacing Aaron Donald. I think Plus, they have Kobe Turner, who's another good defensive tackle. I think Braden Fisk is going to fit in perfectly, and I think Jared Verse is definitely going to light it up.
Yeah, you add Kobe Turner, Byron Young also, and you pair them with you pair them with that. What we talked about when we talked about the Rams is that they're not going to be able to replace a first ballot Hall of Famer like Donald, but what they're doing is with steady bodies and bodies that are going to be productive. I will be honest, when I first saw the pick, I was a little concerned about Verse fitting into the scheme and the system, but where they're going and how they're going to use him, I like that fit. I like the pair, and I like them when they turn around and drafted Fisk. It really gives them basically they got a good amount of bodies that they can rotate and play on. They're really young because Byron Young this is his second year. So now you're fitting and building a really good aggressive pass rush that's young, that you can keep together and build a core with, and two perfect players to fit that system. They're in the perfect place.
Feels like you're able to get an instant impact and an instant boost, at least till teams get film on it, because you'll be able to throw those two next to each other and automatically, even if they're not perfect up on the offense, they'll know how to spin off of each other or fill gaps and things of that nature. Most folks know Florida State runs a 4-2-5. I mentioned the linebacker thing would eventually come up, but it's real confusing. People don't understand. It's like, well, he was a D-end at Florida State. Now he's a linebacker all of a sudden because he's over here. I'm curious. Do they run a 4-3? I mean, I know the answer, but I'm asking you guys. Anyways, but what do the Rams run? Is it a 3-4 or a 4-3? And how close is to the positions that Braden Fisk and Jared Verse are actually going to play in the NFL to what they were asked to do at Florida State?
You got it.
Damien, you want me to take? All right. No, so they have a new defensive coordinator coming in, and he's known for a 4-3. But I think how they'll allow Verse to play, he doesn't have to keep his hand in the dirt. And I think with Kobe Turner, Brian Young, and Braden Fisk, they're going to try to replace Aaron Donald with a group. Like you can't. Aaron Donald used to get 3 blockers coming at him. So now those 3 blockers are going to have to man up on 3 individual players. All 4 of these players are able to beat one-on-one. And I definitely think Braden Fisk is a player. They're going to play up and down the line. They're going to do so much moving around. Like I'm really ready to watch those guys specifically. I think they're going to have a nice defensive front out west.
Yeah, I add with Fisk. He's a much more active player in the interior. So he's the kind of guy I think that can give you 6 to 7 sacks from the interior and be able to pass rush as well as fill the gaps and stop the run. I like his pickup and where he fits now with Jared. I think he'll fit fine because even though they run a 4-3, it's going to be a multiple style defense. Like D said, they're going to stand him up. So he's already shown his first year at FSU that he pass rush, but then this past season, he showed a little bit more being able to set the edge consistently. He worked on those things in his game and being able to stop the run. So he showed the versatility that I think he'll be able. The only question is if they have to drop him back into coverage, like I'm running a fire zone or something like that. If he has to drop back, if he can do that and cover his zone, he'll be fine. But I think they're going to use him to come after the quarterback a lot more than the perception may be. He won't necessarily have to be a consistent edge setter.
Beautiful. And that's why you come to the Renegade Report, so you get to hang out with the double Ds, and we get to talk about it, man, because they break it down for you. We got a super chat right here. We can't ignore them. It's the rule in the house. And I got to adjust my overlay. I've got it messed up here where when I do my super chats, it covers my head there. But Ryan Wiley says, I put the over-under at 5.5 plays with Rodgers this season. Jordan Travis will get his chance this season. I'm a bitter Packers fan.
So, that's funny.
I guess he's not hoping for much success for Aaron Rodgers, excuse me. Jordan Rodgers is a little brother.
Well,
but
I mean,
no, I don't want to wish that on the guy. Maybe let him get at least 5 series or something like that.
I mean, his biggest play last year was running with the flag. Like this guy is not right. He's not wrong. You know.
I was trying to be nice
Lord,
about it when I pointed it out earlier.
God bless him. I really hope Aaron is healthy enough to play to show Jordan Travis all the things, right? Because Aaron learned behind the best for a long time. That was like the last of the quarterbacks learning behind like the starting quarterback, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
outside of Jordan.
Out of Jordan Love. Yeah, Jordan Love in Green Bay now had to do the same thing.
You don't see it anymore. It's over. It's done. So let's hope that I really honestly, and I'm going to go back to Chris's comment because there is an interview with Aaron and Jordan that's going to come out, and I really feel like everybody is going to be really happy with it because Aaron really likes Jordan, and I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Like, of course you would like Jordan. Like, why wouldn't you? He's amazing, right?
Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
amazing. He's a professional already. He carries himself like that.
Absolutely.
He learned it.
Yeah. With likability, you put likability on a chart, he blows that thing through the sky, through the roof. It's unreal. If you don't like Jordan Travis, it's like that's a you thing. We need to figure out what's wrong with you and go forward because he's the man. Nick Snyder comes through with a question, says, what is the projection for Johnny Wilson in Philly? So that's a perfect natural transition as we get into some wide receivers. I think Keon Coleman was like perfect for Buffalo, but we can start with Johnny Wilson, another, I think, good match. What's the first impressions there with Johnny Wilson in Philadelphia after just crushing the combine?
I'll start this one off. When they took him, I'm a Cowboys fan too, so I was very disappointed. I was like, we got to see this guy. Ironically, them taking Johnny. I'm not. This is no comparison for your viewers here, but a guy by the name of Harold Carmichael was the tallest NFL wide receiver, 6'8", in Philly. Went to the Hall of Fame. But I look at it this with Smith and with Brown that they have at wide receiver already. They got a tight end. They can pretty much use him like a Swiss Army knife. He can do a little bit of everything. They can run him in line, run him out wide. He'll be able to be a matchup problem and a nightmare if they can utilize him the right way. That's what I see for Johnny. I think the transition will take a little time. You know, he'll have to work on his consistent route running. But I think how they'll use him and utilize him, he could be a big issue for those teams in the division.
So did you guys, when they called his name for this, did you just automatically think, oh my God, that's a perfect fit for him? Because that's exactly what I thought myself. I honestly, I wanted him to go in the first, like I want him to go earlier, obviously, as a Florida State fan, obviously. But like when they called his name for the Eagles, the Birdman going to the Eagles for me, and just obviously the way he plays with the bird, all of those things. I just could not imagine a more perfect spot for him at that moment. And, you know, at least going for the next 2 years, we understand that NFL teams change, but for right now, I think this is a perfect fit for him.
Yeah. I definitely. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, to answer your question, I definitely felt like it was a perfect fit for him. Because with me and Damian, me and Deshaun, we talked about it. With his size, if he wasn't able to make it at receiver, you can move him as tight end because they don't use Dallas Goedert as just an inline tight end. They move him around and everything. But reports have been coming out that they're actually elated with how he sinks his hips and his route running ability. I think for such a big guy that I think that was a lot of people's knocks on him. They didn't think that he would be able to run routes, get in and out of his breaks. But they said that he's doing extremely well during OTAs and getting out of breaks.
Boom. Jason Shear with a $5 super sticker. We really appreciate it. What I was starting to say is, you know, when I look at it, you know, just kind of an outset of as far as just looking away from just exactly what he does and what's on the roster and stuff, I just think about who Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback and kind of what Johnny Wilson's style is and kind of the comparisons with Jordan Travis and who he's kind of come up with pretty much his entire active career as a college football player. And yeah, I feel like there's an opportunity there. If he can stay healthy, if he can like make those catches in practice, earn the trust of the coaching staff, it would be great. Because when you do start looking down the line at Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Anaya Smith, John Ross, like they've got all the guys that can do all the things to where if all those guys are playing their games, now you've got this dude that's moving all around in the slot, and you've got to like try and man him up with your fifth DB. And he's a 6'7", 250-pound dude who runs a 4.4. That's them's problems. I don't care what league it's in. So yeah, super excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, perfect. Also, he can add to their the physicality in the run game. He's a high grade run blocker from his position. So I think he's going to bring something, whether it's route running, catching over the middle, which it's a little underrated. He did catch a lot of over the middle passes. The short route, he was Jordan's safety blanket at FSU the last 2 years. And if you look at the differences from 22, where he was more counted on in the vertical game, and in 23, where he became much more of the safety blanket, he showed his versatility. And then running the time that he ran in the combine, it shows that he has the potential to stretch the field even at his size. 4.5 for his frame. That's good. That's really good.
It's a shame that Southern Miss game exists, because outside of that, dude really had a damn up year and was that safety valve for Johnny Wilson. But that leads us naturally to another guy. And this is the one where I reacted like Jen said we all should have for the Birdman. When Buffalo took Keon Coleman at 33, I said, holy shit, literally perfect. For Josh Allen, if you're going to like Madden create a player at wide receiver, bam, boom, there he is, Keon Coleman with, with the attitude and kind of the personality all to go along with it. How fun has it been talking about him and just seeing him blossom from the time he just kind of got drafted to now? It seems like you don't get any more perfect of a situation than that one.
Yeah, I like the pickup. The more I'm watching Keon, the more I'm liking him as just a person. I think he's definitely a character outside of football, but I definitely think that on the field, like, he's going to lock in and he's going to play. He had questions about his separation and his speed at the combine, but when he ran the gauntlet drill, he did phenomenal at that. That's what Puka Nacua did well at as well. The only issue I have with it is Josh Allen is not the most accurate quarterback, but those stop fades and those back shoulder fades, red zone, Keon should definitely come in. I'm at least 7 to 10 touchdowns.
Yeah. To add on to, Keon is in a great position because with the Buffalo losing Gabe Davis free agency and then trading Diggs, that puts Keon right there as the primary target in his rookie year. So he should be able to put up decent numbers his first year and possibly be one of your offensive rookie of the year candidates.
Facts. Yeah, I think that it just gives him the volume that he's going to need to break in and really get used to it. So yeah, I can't wait.
He's going to see everyone's number one corner.
Yeah,
that is the one issue.
He's going to see Sauce Gardner twice a year, so he's going to have to beat man coverage. So
got Jalen Ramsey twice a year.
Yeah, so, there's no doubt about that. I don't want those problems. I'm glad I just talked about football. But yeah, that is true. If you're going to be number one, that means you got to see number one. We'll be real excited, and I don't think Josh Allen and that offense has ever been one to blush no matter who's on him. So he'll get his catches, but he'll definitely learn some lessons about press coverage and things of that nature. I have no doubt. Boom, another $4.99 super chat comes in from Kevin Herman. He says, "This is Pee Wee. Super excited for you all, for what you all have going on, George. Keep up the great work. We really appreciate it, Kevin." That's one of those people from right here in town. So we always appreciate the support, Pee Wee. And yeah, man, talking some FSU football, talking about some guys getting drafted. I could tell you a story that Pee Wee told me one day. It's kind of like a joke, kind of a story. I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't know. We'll have to get a little bit further into the alcohol or have like a more fun X-rated joke.
I'm sorry, I just kind of woke up there.
So we may have to tell this one story that you told me on a construction site one time way back in the day. Moving on. Who's next?
I
we're
heard
about
more
35
alcohol.
minutes.
That's what I heard.
What was that, Jen?
I said I heard more alcohol. Like, can we get back to that story?
We know where Jen's going at, my God.
Oh, look.
Oh, my goodness.
I
We have
like to
too
be
much fun.
messy. It's fun. Like, you know.
But who's next?
Right.
We've covered so far. We've hit Jordan Travis, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson. So that leaves.
Can we discuss my
Jarrion
favorite,
Jones. Y'all want
Kalen?
to jump
I
over
want
there?
to discuss Kalen Deloach at my team.
That was the first one we started.
I know, but like, can we not just discuss it a little bit more? Just a little bit more? Because Rob might be
we still got
watching.
5 more draft picks to get to. That's like what we started on. But we could jump back into some.
Let's discuss it more. It's my birthday, George. It's my
Jen's birthday. We are going back into Kalen Deloach. My gosh, Jen, what do you want to hear about Kalen Deloach?
I want to hear how quickly I can buy his jersey. Number one, once he makes the team. Because that's what I want to buy. The Bucs is my team. So to have this amazing player from Florida State go there is awesome for me. So how quickly can I buy the jersey? What do you guys think? How long is it until he makes the team?
I think we'll find out. He'll make the team by maybe the second preseason game, maybe second or third preseason game. He'll make it. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. I was just trying to plan out when I need to buy the jersey. That's where I'm going. Thank you. Thank you for appeasing me, George. I know it pisses you off.
No, Jen get what Jen wants. Who else did they pick up? They didn't get any Florida State players, did they?
No, I don't think they did. It was a
possibility. They picked up Graham Barton. That was
Graham Barton.
Huh?
That was their first pick in the draft this past year.
Y'all want to talk Jaheim Bell? Jaheim Bell?
We can go Jaheim Bell.
We can go Jaheim Bell. Patriots. I did see some video of Jaheim doing his rookie mini camp, just normal passes on air. My opinion is with them having Brissett starting right now, most likely over Drake May as he transitions, because it's a possibility that Drake could take the spot, but in my opinion, most likely Brissett, you're going to want to go with a vet in that situation since they're in transition with the not only their coaching but the franchise, the administration. You're going from Belichick and they're making some changes even in how they drafted. Going into Bell, I think because he's a move tight end and he'll be able to move around. He's a little undersized, as we all know, but it's so many things he can do and be flexible. I can't remember the guy's name. Ironically, the guy played for Florida. That I kind of give him a comparison to as far as he played quarterback for Florida, but he also played tight end. You
talking about Burton, Trey Burton?
Trey Burton. Trey Burton.
Oh.
That's the comp I have for Jaheim. Trey, Trey played a good amount of years in the league. Was effective in the right system. I think he's in a good system. Bell's in a good system to be able to be utilized. He doesn't have to be the primary guy as far as a tight end position. They'll be able to flex him around. He can line up in the backfield, give him power running. He can also line up offline, line up wide, give him some blocking, be able to stretch the field a little bit intermediately and the seams, attack the seams in the passing game. I really like that pickup. I think it's a good fit for him also.
Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper.
Yep.
That's a pretty damn good group to start out with. For sure.
I think it's an amazing fit. The only thing I feel so bad for him about is that he's stuck with Mac Jones, and also that it's not Tom Brady with that whole other offense that would have been there not 4 to 5 years ago. Can you imagine Jaheim Bell coming into that Brady offense? I just, oh my God. I mean, that guy would have been Gronkowski times 1,000. I'm sorry. He would have been in the NFL Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. This would have been such a perfect fit for him. I don't have the words.
Yeah, Jaheim's from my hometown in Valdosta, but I definitely think he's going to do big things there. They have a youth movement going in New England. Drake Mays had inconsistency with his foot. I mean, with his feet, his footwork and everything. If it was me, I wouldn't start him right now. I'd let Jacoby Brissett start. Go ahead because they have.
Is Mac Jones not starting? What's wrong with him?
No, they traded Mac Jones to the Jags.
Oh, did they? Oh, thank God.
Yeah. So
that's how far.
So they have Drake May, and that's why I think that they should let May sit. Let these other guys, because like you said, Jaheim's got 2 guys in front of him. They're on 1-year deals. When Drake May comes in 2025, they should have a youth movement. Jaheim should be a focal point of it with Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. So I definitely think Jaheim's gonna to touch on piggyback with Deshaun said. You guys call me Deshaun, my bad.
Y'all got me so fucked up with y'all's names because how it showed up and me trying to figure out who D is and who Deshaun is. They're both D. They're both Deshaun. They're both Damien. Double D. Sorry.
But yeah, definitely gonna be able to be a move piece. Reverses, and they're gonna be able to get him the ball. They're gonna be able to get him the ball. I can't wait to see him play.
Okay, so I'm actually, I think Drake May with Jaheim Bell is actually perfect.
Yeah,
I think it's perfect. I guess maybe I forgot Mac Jones was traded away. Thank God he was. If it is Drake May, I think obviously Jacoby is going to start, but I think Drake May is going to be. I don't know. I mean, I watch way too much ACC football to actually believe in a quarterback from the ACC. So, I think, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. That's what I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. Jacoby, it's crazy. It's like, what is it? When was the last time he started? Is it like 2018 or something when the Deflategate was going on? And
do you remember his injury when he split? When he did that splits and like Jacoby Brissett had that injury to his like groin when he did like a split? Oh,
was that when he was at NC State?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
Sorry,
now.
George.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to throw that one in there. That was like brutal. That was like, as a woman, I had to cross my legs when I saw it. I was like, oh God. Lord,
but men are not supposed to do the full splits. We are not meant for that stuff.
But Brissett brings a veteran presence, so he'll be able to, sort of like Jordan's situation in the Jets, he'll be able to help in the development of Drake May, and give them time to not have to push that process too fast.
Jacoby Brissett, he was one of those like 5 UF quarterbacks in a row that are like, oh, this guy's garbage, get him out of here. All conference, all pro, all conference, all pro. It was like 4 of them in a row. All got drafted, all ended up starting, having stints in the NFL. That was a beautiful time. As we, everything happens in waves. Here we are right back to laughing at Florida again. And Florida State is dumping out people in the NFL. I think we got a real chance to hit that 30. I believe it's 29 players taken in 3 years as the record. Jimbo Fisher, that was like a national record at the time, but it's a Florida State record for the time being. I think Norvell has a real shot to get another 6 to 8 guys taken this year, another 10, 12 the following year, and really hit that 30 mark. But as we move on from Jaheim Bell, I said Jarrion Jones earlier. That's just the first one that comes to mind, but a big one, a dude who came out in 2022 after really getting shit on in 2021 and a lot of shit talk online and vitriol, and like called his shot like, I'm gonna make y'all eat y'all's words. Had a pretty good 2022, and then 2023, I mean, just lights out at the cornerback position, especially at the slot cornerback position. Dude wasn't giving up nothing, like an NFL player, especially the second half of the year. Ends up going 3rd round.
He went 3rd round, 96.
And anyways, take it away. Yeah, I'm super pumped for Jerry and couldn't be happier than him. And to be able to play that slot in the NFL is like, it's a skill all unto itself nowadays. And it seems he's got that ability.
What I'll add with Jarrion is if you look at the process that Jordan went through offensively, Jarrion is the opposite on defense, because Jarrion had some struggles here and there, but he is the epitome of what development shows. He stayed in the system, he got comfortable in the system, and then he found his place in the system at that nickel spot. He can play outside, but being in that nickel, he had one of the highest PFF grades in the country. this past season. He was consistent, and some would say possibly our best defensive back of the corners we had, playing from that spot. And I think where he slides in with Jacksonville, he doesn't have to have the pressure to play outside or play. He can slide right into that same position and pretty much just hit the ground running. I was very excited when he was drafted, where he was drafted. And I think he's going to be one of those guys, one of the 13 that really surprise a lot, because he goes in that spot where a lot of FSU DBs in history kind of go, and they end up having 12-year careers and prolonged, long careers that pretty much they surprise is where I'm going with it. I really like that pick, and I like Jarrion. I like the his journey. Like you said, a lot of people dogged on him, a lot of them hard, and he's the guy that you look at when you look at other DBs on the roster that some of us in the fan base and FSU fan base question. You see his development, and people were hard on him. Let's be patient and watch others' development and see what happens.
That's facts, man. And that takes us straight to Renardo Green, another one. And it really speaks to the specificity of the positions in the NFL and what they're training for versus what happens in college. And something that's happened a lot with Norvell and this defense and Adam Fuller is like they ask guys to sacrifice and go get better by playing out of position for a year. And you're sacrificing film. But Renardo Green is another one that was forced to play out of position due to depth, had to go do this, go do that, ends up in the perfect spot at that boundary corner and shows out. I think Kevin Noles is somebody who gets a ton of shit, who isn't going to be to this level, but he's going to play a lot better in that slot this year than a lot of people are giving him credit for. But don't let me get too far. Renardo Green, he's the next guy, like Jarrion Jones, somebody who makes a big jump off of that senior film and really played lights out all year long and was a true number one cornerback for the FSU football Seminoles.
Go ahead, D. You touch on Renardo, man. You got him.
I didn't get to touch on Jerry, but I like both of them. I felt like they gave those LSU wide receivers. I felt like they gave those wide receivers from LSU hell. I definitely think Renardo's going to be. He's got the ability to start as a rookie, opposite of Travarius Ward. San Francisco is going to have a good secondary, and I like what I've seen from Renardo Green. I think he's physical. I think he's aggressive. He's going to get in there. He's going to learn the scheme and the system. Travarius Ward is a guy who will teach and bring him along. So I definitely think he'll be able to come in and he's going to do some big things out there for San Francisco. They already have a good defensive front, so he's going to be able to jump some routes, get his hands on some balls.
I'll add one little quick
what
thing.
You laughing at, dude?
Because what he said.
We want to see our man get his hands on some balls. That means he's balling.
No did it.
I know Jim.
I'll add one thing, man. Like you touched on so many things, D. It's not much to add.
Balls and everything.
Pause. Ronaldo's game, and I'm the one that always speaks to scheme and fit. When they took Renardo, this was out of the group the best fit for where he went because of his attitude, mindset, and his play style. He's physical. He can come up and make tackles. He doesn't shy away from the physicality of the ball, first and foremost. And as was already touched on, Malik Neighbors, Keyshawn Boutte, Brian Thomas Jr. He was able to play against those guys, and he showed very well, including getting an interception in last season's game while covering, I believe, Malik Neighbors. Had Malik Neighbors sitting, actually looking the opposite direction as he picked the ball off. Green, I remember when he came to FSU, he was a safety, so that speaks to his physicality. He came out of high school as a safety and transitioned to corner. I think his coverage skills, he was one of the better PFF grades. Once again, he had a great grade. Good defensive back, be able to play in the actually come up and help stop the run game and be able to jam. I like his ability to be able to jam, get his hands into the receiver, stop him at the point of attack, and move from there. I think it's just the best fit for the attitude that the San Francisco defense has already.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Absolute stud. And I was just pumped with how he worked out. for Florida State and that he could have such a huge year.
Uh-huh.
And as great as these guys were, I think it's important to point out like the jumps that Renardo Green, Jarrion Jones, these guys had to make these high draft picks, because that wasn't the story going in. That they weren't featured in all the preseason magazines, and all the people on Twitter weren't saying this or that. They went in the mud, just worked and climbed, got it out of the mud. They did it, and I'm so proud and can't wait to see them. I think, like you guys said, they're going to have way above average NFL careers because of how they were prepared. But I look forward and I see Azariah Thomas, I see Ventrell Cyrus, I see Earl Little Jr., I see Conrad Hussey, I see Jaheim Brown, and I see another upper echelon, another level of athlete and kind of ceiling coming in. I can't wait to hit it. And the same thing with the linebackers. We can get into that if we have time. But that takes it to Tatum Bethune. Also, I believe was a 49er. So I guess he fits that same mold. What do you guys think? You think he can make the team?
I think he has a great shot at making the team, specifically because of how they use their linebackers, what he can do. They also develop, because a lot of their linebackers they have now, who's coming off the injury again, D? Is it Greenlaw? Yeah. They weren't taken high, but the development. San Francisco is a development franchise. They get guys and they're really good at developing them for their scheme. So once again, Bethune fits that scheme, the schematics of how they're going to want to play. Naturally, he's much more your thumper downhill, but he showed something in the ACC championship game when he made a big play with the interception in the end zone. And the fact that he played hurt a lot also. He's more your traditional size off of what Kalen was. He's 6 foot 230, so he fits today's mold. If he can show more consistency in covering the middle of the field and his coverage backside of the backfield, or if he has to cover a tight end, I think he'll make the roster and be able to be a serviceable piece as a rotational depth piece.
Yeah, I think he'll make the roster, definitely. He might have to start off on special teams because, like Deshaun said, with his injury history, as long as he's able to stay healthy, they have positions available. So I mean, he can get out there and take it. I think he has that type of ability. He's a bigger body linebacker, so that's what San Francisco likes to have. As long as he's able to stay healthy, he's got a shot.
I love it, and I would love to see him out there. He's been a big part of what we were able to do the past 2 years, and what Randy Shannon was able to do with him and Kalen was a great thing to see, and a breath of fresh air for Florida State fans after 4 or 5 years of that middle just being absolutely wide open for whoever just wanted to make their living there. Guys, I've got the phone number scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It's 850-495-1906. If you've got any question for my guy Deshaun, Damien, for Jen, myself, we've got another 10-15 minutes here as we creep up on an hour. I think we've covered all the NFL Noles. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but any further questions, we can talk. If you got any questions about the NFL as a whole, if you want to talk about Florida State as a college, whatever the case may be, the lines are open. And also, Deshaun, Damien, Jen, is there anything on our minds, anything as far as FSU football? What do we want to talk about to close it out? Anything worthy of a rant on this beautiful Memorial's Day? I guess we can say Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there.
Happy Memorial Day.
Thank you to everybody who gave their life and service for this country and all those great things. We do appreciate that for sure.
I'll add one thing. I just want to give a shout out to Pat Surtain, development. We talked about the defensive backs and their jump. I'm not knocking the past defensive back coach, but you can see night and day. Year one, we end up having 3 guys taken in the secondary, and we're gonna have more. And then you think about the class that we just brought in at FSU and the development. And Surtain has a specific type. He likes longer, rangy corners that are at least 6 foot, 6'1". So to see, I just really want to give him his props and shout out to the development area in our secondary. It's really put us back as a where we don't get a lot of consideration or credit for. We get less than we should as being DBU. I know there's a particular university that called itself DBU in Gainesville but don't have a simple Hall of Famer. How many you can name the number of how many All Pros? I mean, their best DB is what, Joe Hayden. I'm just gonna touch on Florida there a little bit. Yeah, I'm throwing a little shade. There's no claim to DBU there.
Are you busy on Monday night?
Actually, I won't be, to be honest with you.
Oh, because we could so add you on a Monday night show that we have on this actual channel that you might actually have some fun with. You know what I mean? If you're to roast people like that,
I'm just saying, I'm like,
let me give you this invite real quick. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am. Of the big three, that's the last university that should be claiming DBU. That's all I'm gonna leave it at.
Facts. Preaching for him. We did get a caller here. You're live with the Renegade Rundown. What question for us did you have today?
Yes. When is these sorry bums that we play with, or when are they gonna be able to bring something to the table? That's why we're trying to get up out of here. Go Noles. Love the show.
Appreciate you, bro. Keep those comments coming. We love it, man. One day they'll bring something to the table. Jen will let us know about it. Until then, she's gonna keep those fuckers on notice and let them know what they ain't doing. That's for damn sure. Nick wants to know what's going on. What's next for Dalvin Cook in his career? We know that he signed a big deal out there. It was supposed to be something with the Jets. I don't know if that worked out. Did they tear that one up? What's exactly going on with that with him?
Yeah, he's a free agent right now. He keeps posting that he's working out and he's ready. I think it'll have to be a camp injury or something for him to get an opportunity. I'm big on family, man. So I'd like to see him get an opportunity, even if he signed for a little bit to play with his little brother up in Buffalo.
That would be cool, man. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, that would be a nice little thunder and lightning type.
Yeah. They're two different. They're two different bodies. They're two different body types.
I know.
The situation with Dalvin is he plays that position and is no longer valued like it once was. So he's in that transition part of his career where he still has something in the tank, but it's like, I got to prove it. You know, it's like that prove it situation for him right now.
Yep. Is it worth it? Like, do you have the want to go out there and do what's necessary? I wouldn't blame him if he hung him up, but I would love to see him get that fire in his belly and go do it again, because I say this all the time. I don't know if I've said it on the show a bunch, but there's only two people ever in their career now. Here's the disclaimer. I didn't get to see Peter Warrick in person. Okay, so that didn't happen. But of all the people I've seen in person, Dalvin Cook and Chris Johnson in his year that he was running for 2,000 yards in the NFL. Both of those two people, when they got the ball, I saw Dalvin Cook in 2015 and I saw CJ2K, that year. It's like collectively the entire stadium like takes a breath like, every single time there's a collective, like everybody knows he may take this thing to the house. And it's every time. I've never, no other player, no other quarterback, nothing like that besides those two guys. But nothing like it. One of the most electric players of all time. And the fact he didn't get to go to that Heisman ceremony at one time in his career, college football career, is just like, it's an absolute joke, and it still pisses me off. I'm sure Peter Warrick was the same way in college. But just electric player, and Dalvin Cook for life for sure.
Yes.
Well, guys, we're almost right here at an hour as we pull to the end of this thing. Jen, you know what? Bam. We talk conference realignment a lot. We talk about it a lot on the show. And Jen sent me this video from this guy the other day. And we played the audio from some of his video. The last video that she sent me where he was just like talking crazy about Miami versus Florida State. The guy's Cam. His name's Cam. He's with our good friend Mark Rogers at the Voice of College Football. He talks about Miami's side of it. Like Chris and James and I talk about FSU's side. And he's constantly like, he's got to be just completely trolling. But some of the stuff he says ends up being pure gold. So you can set it up while I find the clip real quick.
I think the delusion is strong here. I don't think he's trolling. I think that is exactly how they think. I think they live in a different world than the rest of us do, where you don't have to win anything, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to be relevant, and people are supposed to still remember you from 45 years ago. Nobody cares. You know, the Bigfoot was relevant the last time you were. People were going to Blockbuster, and it was full. You know, like it was a whole thing. It was a vibe. You know, like it was like Chuck E. Cheese was a vibe the last time you were relevant. Nobody gives two licks about this team, but it's about to be really funny because I have to admit, I love to watch these podcasts so you guys don't have to. And I sent it to Georgie this morning and he was like, why'd you do this? But now you're grateful that I sent it to you because it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
So let's
amazing.
listen to it. I'm going to let Mark set up the question a little bit, and we'll just listen to like the first minute or two of the delusion, maybe, and then cut it off. And this will be a lot like a good laugh and a good way to end the show here. But yeah, just super funny.
Come out this week and been very adamant and vocal
in regards to conference realignment and what Miami's doing about
concerning revenue. Do you have concerning the Miami position any advice for how vocal Miami should be? Would you want them to be more vocal, lay back? Do you think that there's a particular approach that they should or should not be taking?
It's a fine question.
I think that we're taking the approach that there was to take. Dan Radakovich, Miami athletic director, was the first one to speak out at an athletic director and president's meeting a couple of years ago about this issue.
Well, he wasn't the AD of Miami.
Leaders do. Yes. You put an issue out there and you let your underlings, the peons of the world, handle your light work. So we raised it in the thing, and then, Florida State says, hey, wait, Miami's right about this. We're not making the money we should make. And then Clemson says, well, weird.
Now,
that's funny.
The spin.
Yeah. Isn't it documented already that Miami has been playing the sideline and then necessarily hasn't been to the forefront? It's already been well documented.
Miami doesn't have a place to go. That's why it's been documented. And that's why Miami is sitting on the sidelines, because nobody has reached out yet. Now, I'm not saying Miami doesn't have a place. Yeah. I think they do. My guess would be the Big 12. But I'm only saying that Miami's they're sitting here going, well, we're just going to let Florida State and Clemson, the ones who can win the conference and win playoff games and national championships other than us. But, we're going to come in the back door and be the one that everybody wants.
They're going to do what?
That's what they said. They're like, we're going to come in within the back and be like, oh, now we're here. Sirs, nobody wanted you. Nobody invited you. You weren't invited to the party. You weren't invited. You got the wrong password.
The sheer unmitigated gall of him to say, oh, Dan Radakovich, he brought it up first. And we just sat back
while he was the AD at Clemson.
Yeah, right? He was at Clemson at the time. So he's only been the AD at Miami for 2 years.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, this conversation has been going on longer than that.
There's no doubt. It's pretty hilarious that he would have the gall to pretend it's some kind of grand scheme, and really Miami wants to blow up the conference. They want out all this stuff. They're letting Florida State and Clemson do it. They're going to sit there and soak up. They're being smart about it. They're thinking about the program and how to do all these things. They're going to let Florida State and Clemson win all the championships, all the New York Six Bowls, go to all the playoffs, win all the national championships. Do all that silly shit that nobody wants to do. And then in 2038, they'll be laughing. It's boy, you don't even have a stadium. You don't even have a stadium.
I'm old enough to remember when they were
Maybe you'll come on the show one time.
I'm old enough to remember when they were invited on the like into the ACC that it was called all their fans called it the All Canes Conference.
Yeah.
So what is it now? What's it called now? The All Clemson Conference? Like, what are we doing, guys? Because you guys have done nothing. Like, and by I mean nothing. Virginia Tech has won more. Wake Forest has won.
Yes.
You guys can't even snip one. And the only time you did, you had to kick a field goal so you wouldn't lose by 30.
I would add this. Miami has had one 10-win season in what, 15, 16 years now?
20.
One 10-win season. And they've been basically a 7 to 8 win program on that same scale. They bring up our 4 tough seasons that we've had, but in that same span, what are we talking about here? You've done nothing.
You've done nothing
since entering the conference. The Big East has been dead for how long? It's pathetic, man. It's like you got to stop engaging.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting for you guys to like take over the conference. We're all still waiting. We're waiting for this big muscular man to just come up out of the bottom of Miami and be like, oh, wow, we're winning.
Christ.
And it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's never, like, I swear to God, I think Tom Brady is going to come back into the NFL and win a Super Bowl before Miami wins a game.
He's going to get back. He's going to get back with Giselle. Even better.
Ooh, that's
he's going to fire Alex Guerrero before Miami comes back. Lord have mercy. It's pretty crazy the things that have came back and went out and came back. Like Surge Soda has like went out of business and came back.
Yes.
Since Miami's won a title. Chris said that Miami pretty much died with the Big East, and there's no doubt about that. They definitely died with the Big East.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently none of you guys are understanding this is the year. They have a quarterback this year. Their coach is the best coach in the state. They're going to win this year. I don't know why.
I got a little key fact to that.
I can't even do it with this phrasing.
Every program that followed Miami from the Big East to join the ACC has played in or won the ACC title. If you think about it, Pitt, Louisville, except Syracuse, with the exception of Syracuse. Boston College has even won the ACC.
Oh, God, that's
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Honestly, you should quit. You should quit at that point. If Boston,
Virginia Tech, we already mentioned Virginia Tech.
They got 1 10-win season
in that
time. One bowl win. One. It's like,
and these fools are still making videos. They want to talk about,
we just had 10 wins and 13 wins. It's not that big of a deal, but it's like, you haven't done that at all, ever. Never 13 wins in the ACC. Never won an ACC. It's like, come on, man, have some self-respect. But like Jen said, they're ready to go this year. They're ready to go 13-0. I can't wait. Let's see it. Let's see it, Miami.
Let's see it.
Put up or shut up.
Put up or shut up. Exactly.
I'm just asking them to stop the videos of their losing games. Like, stop being like, look at this game, look how good we did, but you lost. Like, I've never seen anybody celebrate losing the way Miami does. And honestly, if I was a player trying to decide, do I want to go play for this team that celebrates losing, or do I want to play for this team that doesn't? Celebrating losing is really wild. As far as, like, when you think about sports, people don't celebrate losing, like, ever. It's
at all.
You lost. No. You lost.
Well, these
fools, they're like, let's put on a parade for a loss. I've never seen. Okay, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
And it's actually more people at that parade than their games too. So
100%.
Definitely not saying much.
I mean, I look at it as a fan base. If you're going to support, you got more people support on Twitter. Fan support on Twitter than you do actually showing up to games, and they're $1 for a ticket. They'll charge $1. You can get a buy one get one. I don't understand it, but then they'll use the excuse there's so much to do in Miami, but then you turn the same TV on Sunday and see the Dolphins, and the stadium is packed.
It says enough when
there's so much to do. There's so much to do. That's why they can't come on the night games, but they can on Sundays.
Yeah.
It says enough that you call them Miami and not the U.
Well,
that shows you how far they've fallen. No one even calls them the U anymore. It's just Miami.
Yeah.
I think I've been missing calls, guys.
Okay.
I got all these missed calls, man.
Yeah, had so much fun.
See if I can get Tiny Hat on the line.
Yay! I knew it.
Just sit back and enjoy this one.
Let's see.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to run the. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, so what do you guys Memorial Day plans? Anything big?
Nothing big for me. Just gonna relax. I had been down with my parents the last 2 days. My oldest son just graduated last week from high school, so I'll probably get out on the grill and do the traditional thing.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's probably the same thing.
Nice.
Let the kids get in the pool and not work my doggone nerves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Nice.
All right, we got our first caller up here. We got 2 or 3 that we had missed, but bam, as the lights crashed to the ground, you're live on the Renegade Rundown.
So I just have something to say on Miami and Cam Ward. All their fans think that Norvell, that we just had to kind of that DJ wasn't our first pick. I think he was. I think Norvell looked at both players and said, who can I improve the most in one season? Because I think if you had 2 or 3 years with Cam Ward, we would have gotten Cam Ward. I don't know if y'all have watched the spring game or any of his highlights on Washington State. That boy throws sidearm balls so bad. He's going to get Pat Payton, all them boys are going to be blocking his passes. I can't wait to watch him fail. Anyways, thank y'all.
Awesome. I agree. Yeah. My analysis, it's a fair analysis of Cam Ward. I think that the system that he played in, he benefited from because he followed it. The same coach that he had at Incarnate Word. And it's some things in his game.
And he had 84 turnovers in 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not their fans say like it's an offensive line problem. No, he holds the football like a loaf of bread,
All right, brother. We appreciate you calling in.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I agree. DJ was my choice from the absolute jump. I wanted DJ. It was never even an option for me. I mean, obviously, if Cam had come to Florida State, I would have been fine with that. He's a great player. I am not downing him at all. But for me, Cam wanted to be in the NFL or he wanted to be at Ohio State. Yeah. I wanted a guy that wanted to be at Florida State. And that's exactly where DJ wanted to be. DJ's system works perfectly with Mike Norvell. I think this is such a beautiful match. And I think that's exactly why DJ wanted to transfer. That's the only school he looked at. He knew exactly what that coach could do. He knew exactly what Tony Tokars could do. And it's perfect. It's a perfect match. And people, honestly, I mean, maybe I get a little too excited about it, but I think people aren't understanding how good of a match this really is. I think with the quarterback coach, with Mike, all involved, with the wide receivers we've now got, and I know everybody's worried about the wide receivers, but I think we're going to be fine. DJ is really good at this. He's really good at this. This is like his bread and butter with Mike Norvell. I mean, look, I know I've gone on this tangent for how long, George?
Oh, she's definitely been all in on DJU from the jump. We had his dad on here.
I had a Miami
we heard
fan
the story first, from the horse's mouth, exactly how it all happened, and that idea that Cam said no, and then we fell back on DJU. That is not how it went down whatsoever. No. We don't have to get all back into it, but Florida State got the perfect guy. for what they want to do this year, and I can't wait to see what happens for sure.
I believe it was a chalkboard interview, and that was pretty much the decision.
Bam, we got you now, Tiny Hat.
Tiny Hat.
Didn't mean to cut you off there. I thought I had it muted, but we got Tiny Hat live on the channel. It took us a minute. We were having some technical issues. I kept cutting him off, and then I tried to call him back. I couldn't get through. But Tiny Hat CEO live on the show. We got 184 people live. Dying to hear what you have to say, my man.
Yes. The Tiny Hat CEO has returned to the Renegade Rundown. I want to say everybody like and subscribe. Shout out to the brothers from the Double D's podcast. I love y'all boys. Y'all are great out here. Speaking of Double D's, the only Double D's at the University of Coral Gables Hurricanes know is up underneath that polo that the coach Taquito Taggart is out here rocking on the sidelines. Okay, them boys are garbage. They feel as hell. They slurping the Delusional juice, and don't nobody give a damn about what they got going on out here. Okay, them boys are trash. They got more fans in the spaces at 4 a.m. mad after all of them losses than they do on the field. Okay, we know for a fact that all of their real fans are too busy outside parking the cars for all of their opponents that are going to the actual stadium because they're not even allowed to go to the stadium. They ain't even allowed to be on that damn campus. Okay, I told y'all I live down here. I know what it is down there. Them boys ain't allowed to cross the city limits to go into Coral Gables. They are not in Miami. I keep telling y'all this. They are in Coral Gables. They don't even have street signs up in Coral Gables because they know half their fans can't read. So they write the actual street names on little rocks on the side of the road so they don't know where the hell they going. That way when they see somebody on that side of town, they can send their asses right back over there to the Poking Beans. All right? Them boys can go sit down somewhere. Oh, Miami has been doing back channeling. The only back channeling Miami has been doing is taking it up the tailpipe from Ruiz and all of them boys because they in bed. The only people they in bed with is Diddy. All right? Okay, we see him 5 cents a share for that life wallet. We see him out there trying to catch up with all of this bread to pass off to all of these players, and all of the players are looking at him like, "What's going on?" We already saw how they tried to do Rashad dirty, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna go get this real bread over here," and then he got done dirty again by them people up there in Shamesville. All right, there's nothing good coming out of that rat ass city. There's nothing good coming out of that rat ass program. They need to go ahead and sit down. Do it on the field. Let's see what you look like on the field because y'all doing a whole lot of talking in the offseason for the 4, 5, 6, 20th year in a row. For the 20th year in a row. Man, go sit y'all ass down somewhere. We talking about royalty over here with the garnet and gold, and I'm tired of talking about teams that ain't won a conference, teams that ain't been in the top 10, teams that ain't made a playoff. They ain't even get into consideration into the honorable mentions of even trying to be on top of anything. The only thing they on top of is that pile of dirt that they got in their locker room where they people come in there and sweep it up and try to throw it in the trash out here. Okay, they're a bunch of garbage men, and they need to understand that they are talking to actual home and land owners. Okay, y'all renting our rental property down there. We come down there every other year to collect rent, make sure y'all ain't putting no holes in our walls, making sure that y'all ain't messing up our stuff that we got in the house. And then once your lease is up, we're gonna go ahead and yank away your Airbnb privileges and kick you on up out of our area. Okay, y'all can go ahead and have it for right now. Y'all are in a rent to own situation. We going on to bigger and better things. We got to go collect these checks from up north. Y'all can go ahead and hopefully buy this property off of us after y'all been written it for so long. But we coming down there to put belt to ass again this year. And then I want to see them 787 people in the spaces at 4 a.m. while I'm laughing, sipping on my Bellini. Shout out to my girl Jen while I'm laughing at their misery one more time. Florida State is on top of the game right now. We're going to be on top of the game again this year. So Hurricanes, keep your mouths closed and let us do what we doing out here. Tiny Hat Gang, we out.
Hey man, they had been too much to everybody. Let go.
I decided to let everybody collect themselves for a second there. Holy shit. Tiny Hat came with the fire today, man.
Yes, that Diddy part, man.
Man. Deshaun let out a good laugh there in the middle of that day. I didn't know if he was going to be able to hold it together.
That was good.
He does this on the daily. I don't know how he does it, but like he does it, and he does it big.
Man, that was good.
Well, you heard the man. Tomorrow, Mondays, 9:15 Eastern, the Renegade Roast, live every week with Jen and Tiny Hat and whoever the special guest is for the week. We do all kind of fun stuff. Again, you can catch us every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday right here. Tuesday and Fridays at 7 Eastern, usually around 3 or 4 o'clock on Sundays. Now, our special guest, Double D's. Let's talk about it. You guys are live right here on YouTube as we speak. While you guys let everybody know exactly what y'all are doing and what y'all have planned coming up, I'm going to go link it and make sure we add it in the comments and the description right this second before I forget.
Okay. I'll start with Double D's. Just make sure y'all tap in with us. It's Double D's. Let's talk about it. Right now, we're touching on the NFL schedule. We just broke down the AFC East. We will be touching on the rest of the divisions on Mondays at 12 p.m. and Fridays at 12 p.m. That's when you can find our content. Be greatly appreciated. D, you tap in and let them know about yours, man.
Yeah, also, I have another podcast called D's Corner. You can check me out. I do a little bit more in-depth dive on all NFL stuff, really all football, anything. But yeah, man, you guys make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate it. We're growing. Like I said, we just started, so tap in with us.
Hell yeah, you heard it here first. When these guys are big stars, they ain't gonna forget about us. They're gonna come back and see us, and they're gonna remember you guys meeting y'all right here. So y'all go check them out and find out everything you need to know about NFL. It's Jen's birthday tomorrow, as well as the Renegade Roast Show. So send her, y'all send her y'all's love. Maybe we'll get her stuff. We probably need to go ahead and do it. Get her Cash App info and stuff up there so that y'all can send her money. Y'all rather send her money than me money. So we'll do something for her birthday, something special there. Make sure you go see Renegade Roast. That's the coolest thing you could do for y'all. Come show up, subscribe, like. Again, go check out Damian and Deshaun's podcast. We love you all. It's all about the Noles. I guess we could leave y'all. It's been a while since we've played our guy Carlos Williams. We can do some Trub Life and some Carlos Williams highlights if I can find the right video. And we'll see you guys next time. Go Noles.
Good night.
Happy birthday.
Hey, man. The FSU versus everybody. Let go.
First off, fuck Bama in the roll tide. Fuck Tuscaloosa in every city that's close by. Bitch ass hillbilly redneck fans. Auburn almost caught y'all slacking like dress pants. Michigan trash, they ain't got a damn chance. Only Wolverine I respect is X-Man. Keen ass coach got exposed, still in play.